Kris Buranasombati.
Yeah.
My brother. Professor Kris Buranasombati.
Thanks, man.
It's awesome, man. Yeah. What a journey, huh?
It's been one. It's definitely hasn't been easy. It's a lot. I mean, there's definitely ups, but there's definitely downs.
Mm-hmm.
There's the times you got to pick yourself up and say, yeah, stop being a bitch.
When did you start training?
I got out of the Navy in 2005.
Okay.
And around 2006-07, that's about when I was like, I told you the story that I was introduced to the UFC first through the Ultimate Fighter from a fellow sailor, Chuck Martinez, and I knew already jiu-jitsu was king. You know, that was it. It was top.
Did you see Royce Gracie fight, or was it just your friend?
I just saw the Ultimate Fighters through I forget the name of the channel, whatever it was, Spike or something like that.
Right, Spike TV.
Yeah, Spike TV.
Those are the days. I feel like, man, I think like those were the like heydays in a way of like the golden. Just it was a cool era. Spike TV,
right.
like Man's
Show.
Network,
Yeah.
and just all those, and it was like now there's not that it's like it's worse or anything, but it's just different, and it was like it was just so real in a way because it was like the Man's channel,
Right.
and it was like limited, like there weren't too many episodes, not too many shows.
Right.
Now we're like overwhelmed, right? So it's hard to follow.
Yeah.
Like all the fighters. Like we knew. Well, if you followed back then, we kind of knew like all the fighters, all the events, every fight that happened, right?
Right.
Like when we talk about Pete,
Yeah. I'm like, I'm blown by when you two get together. I'm just like, whoa. I'm like the fly on the wall.
Because if you're a fan, you watched like every single fight.
Right.
You knew every single fighter.
Yeah. I to say that I got in the game late is true. Not so much more now, and I like to embrace more people into the sport. It's never. I'm not a hater. Oh, like you can't watch us now. No, like everyone should watch it. Everyone should still learn that jiu-jitsu is still king.
For sure.
So
your friend, you were in the Navy. You got out, and your buddy was like really into it.
Yeah, his story kept going. His journey kept going, and
he started jiu-jitsu in the Navy.
He started MMA.
MMA.
Yeah,
that's right.
I was still a novice. I still wasn't sure what it was.
Right.
And he told me to watch these shows, and we'd stand watch together. Every 6 days you would have to sleep at your duty station, and we would stay up. We would have like midnight watch, and we would just be sit there and he would just talk, and I just listen. Man, I swear he told me the stories that he went down to a seminar. And back then, you talk about seminars now. We know, okay, Draculino comes and Professor Draculino comes and everything. I thought it was like damn Bruce Lee movies, man. Like I thought it was like
the seminars.
Yeah, like a Kumite
for a seminar. Yeah,
I was like,
you have no idea, right? If you never done martial arts,
no idea. All I've watched was from like Bruce Lee flicks, kung fu flicks, ninja movies, man. Like I wanted to be Sho Kasushi. I don't know if it's how you pronounce his name, but like being a ninja was my thing as a kid. So I was like, oh wow, like they're all getting together, they're all beating each other up and that's not.
It's the Asian genes, huh?
Yeah. So
I think everybody wants to know how to swing nunchucks and stuff, right? Like deep down, subconsciously.
Man, my neighbors as a kid used to have them. Like they were older kids. They had nunchucks and ninja stars, so they would throw them against the wood doors. Man, like that was the cool thing to be in the 80s, dude. Like, everyone was out in the streets. It's not like it was now.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I actually initially started because it's funny. My son was junior; he couldn't be there. He's still up in UC Santa Barbara. He graduated and all, but he's still up there. And he said, "Man, it's what a journey you've had. It started with me on the mats, and now you continued, and you never stopped." And I forgot about that. Yeah, initially I signed him up.
So you brought him in as a dad.
Yeah,
just to sign him up for martial art lessons.
Yeah, I wanted him to have what I didn't have. I wanted him to have to be able to defend himself, to be able never to be scared of anyone. I wanted to pass that on to him. And you start going, and it's I started with the Kazeka, and you start going, and it's, they pull you in like, oh, why don't you try? Why don't you try? And man, once you try, that's it. Yeah.
Where'd you grow up? Where like what?
Actually, here I grew up here in Burbank.
In Burbank.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to John Burroughs High School.
Burroughs, yeah. Wow.
But I've always felt that I wanted something different, and so then I joined the Navy early. Yeah, I joined the Navy when I was 16.
16?
Yeah, my mom.
Don't you have to be 18?
You do. My mom was just like, at 15, she's like, you're gonna do something with yourself. You're not gonna just do this. You're gonna do something with yourself. So she started taking me around to different recruiting stations late at night.
Really?
Yeah. She would drive by and goes, "Is this where you want to go? Is this where you want to go?" And I was like, man, I was 15. Like, what the hell? Like, nah, I just want to sit on TV, just watch, just sit on the couch, watch TV. So, but no, and then finally I was like, okay.
Was your dad in the military?
No, my dad was born and raised in Thailand, came here when he was 18. Yeah, he's proud. He was really proud of me because my mom and my dad are separated. My dad was proud of me because he said that he left Thailand because he didn't want to go in the military. So he felt really proud that I volunteered for the military. Yeah. We didn't really have a close relationship. So actually after 9/11, he actually reached out to me. We hadn't talked for like over 10 years. And then he reached out to me at 9/11, and he was just like, man, I think 9/11 hit a lot of people in a lot of different ways. And he wanted to rebuild that relationship. He came visiting me up in Washington State. Yeah, I was attached to a submarine. Was I still in the submarine? I may have not been I was attached to a submarine still at the time because I was underwater for 9/11. Yeah, it was crazy.
Man, so your mom, like some parents send their kids to military school, and your mom sent you to the military. It's like, boy, you're going to the military. I don't got no money for the military school. I'm putting you into the military. And she signs you off.
So my dad and I weren't talking. So
she knew, like,
she's like,
she needed
what
structure.
did I gotta do? Yeah, she's like, what do I gotta do? This kid's just nonstop bouncing off the walls. She bought me a weight set when I was 13, and I just started lifting weights. Just on my own, obviously learning a lot of bad habits, but I just couldn't sit still. So she's like, man, you're going to do something. You're going to go do something. You're going to be better than this.
Were you getting into trouble?
No, I just couldn't sit still. I would get good grades, and then they would drop. I would get A's, and they would drop. And I remember her going to my teachers one time, and she was just like, is he getting the bad grades, or are you? Like, my mom, she's strong, she's like, and I was like listening to her, and it made sense. She's like, maybe you're not challenging my son. I think you're not challenging my son because my son will get good grades and then they drop. Why is that happening? Yeah. So it's like, they never liked calling her into those parent teacher conferences, man. She stuck it to
like they say, like the top CEOs and those, successful super achiever, successful people, right? Background in the military or martial arts.
Yeah, I definitely
develops certain character traits, right?
Right. Yeah, discipline. There's this thing that for me, I always have to make my bed in the morning, and it's funny because there's this like officer Bud's guy.
SEAL. Yeah, I saw that.
He talks about the first thing you do is making your bed,
yeah.
And I didn't understand it because I was always told do it.
Yeah.
But then it's like you start off with wins. If the first thing you do, you wake up and you check that box and say, I did something, and then you just got to keep that ball rolling,
That's it.
You got to keep
making your bed, and the first thing you do is being productive, right? Doing something.
An accomplishment. You look at it and you go, wow, that thing was a mess. And now
you've done it so many times in the military that it's ingrained pretty much in your DNA, right?
Hospital corners. You got to crease those corners and turn over.
Yeah, that's how I feel with tack fit, getting the breath with the stuff, and jiu-jitsu too. But it's a part of like who you've been. Once you get that, you're in,
Right. That's the crazy part. Like, I didn't understand. Tack fit's really hard in the beginning. It's more of a brain. Like, your brain I can work out, I can exercise. I ran a marathon like with minimal training. It's not physical capabilities. It's your brain. It's your being able to connect your brain, being able to count, being able to remember the positions. And I remember telling her, I'm like, what's the secret? But Rob, come on, man, tell me the secret. And he's like, you're not ready for it yet. You're not ready. And then after a few weeks, he's just like, okay, hold your hand a little bit here, pinky to, close the pinky off. And then you find your breath. And then you find your breath.
Funny. It's like the white belts when they come in. Like you're not worthy to to learn.
When am I getting
just
promoted?
Show up. Just keep showing up, man. Just keep showing up.
Yeah. When am I getting promoted? I want to get promoted already. It's like, whoa, take it easy. Just learn. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So your dad was Thai. Your mom was
Guatemalan, born in Guatemala. Yeah.
And Guatemala.
Yeah, she was born in Guatemala City, and she came over when she was about 5 or 6. So my grandma came first, and then she came.
Did they always live in Burbank?
No, I was born in Kaiser, but LA. But I remember being in Encino. My grandma lived in Hollywood. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So most of my life, my childhood and up, I was raised in Burbank. I went to elementary, Robert Lewis Elementary.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, Jordan Middle School. But
Nice.
I would visit my grandma a lot in Hollywood. The apartment building's still there, so it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, because I work a lot down there, so then I'll go and I'll drive by it.
Nice. Nice. And so you were born, pretty much, born and raised,
Oh yeah.
Not born, but you're pretty much L.A., right? L.A., one of the hospitals here.
Two crazy immigrants, like.
That's crazy, man. Your mom took you to the recruiting offices in the evening.
Yeah, she's like, "Where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go?" I'm like,
Do you have any brothers and sisters?
I have an older half sister. Yeah, she's 5 years older than me. We keep in touch. We have a cool relationship. Her and I. We can go months without talking with each other, and then all of a sudden it's just like the other day. So we actually talk more now than we did probably as kids, and well, I mean, I left to the military, so that was a little hard, and I was figuring myself out, and she was figuring herself out, but her and I, we definitely have a sibling relationship.
So how long were you in the military?
10 years.
10 years. Wow.
2005. I got out in 2005. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a make or break decision at that point. It was I went through schooling. I actually, like, speaking of ups and downs, so like I initially was supposed to be a reactor operator, nuclear reactor operator, and I went all the way through, took reactor physics, took chemicals, materials, radiological fundamentals. I took all these
smart
courses.
Guy, man. You always been smart.
Well, not that smart. I failed like one of my finals, or failing there is C's. Like you can't, you have to have an A or B, and then they reassigned me.
C's when you're working on nuclear
right,
reactors.
Asian F's. Well, right. I mean, that's the thing. You would hope so. Yeah. So they do a very good vetting process, and they're like, no, like I don't think this is cut out for you. They even tried me to send me through again, and I started acing tests, and they're like, whoa, and they're like, that guy's been through this already. This doesn't count. It's funny. Yeah, because other people are really fresh, right? And they're like, whoa, he just got 100%. And they're like, don't worry about that guy. Like he's been here already before. And that motivates me. Those little tiny little things always motivated me. And I was like, so I'm going to keep trying. And then I kept passing. And then it just got to this point where there's like, they call you and they're like, it's not about what you can learn. It's how fast you can learn. And you're taking college semester classes in 6 weeks. And they're like, this is, which is common now, right? Like that's what all the internet stuff is. And they're like, we're going to reassign you. And I was heartbroken. I was remembering there, and I was heartbroken, but got reassigned. And then I went up to Connecticut.
Repeat that again. It's not how if you can learn, it's how fast you can learn.
Right. They have an attrition rate. It's like an 80%, 90% attrition rate there, meaning that they don't expect people to pass. They're literally trying to get you to weed out all the people. So it's not what you can learn, it's how fast you can learn. Some of that has distorted my mentality.
Why is that?
Because I try to learn things quick now. And if I can't catch on, I'll read a book. I don't read a book to read it and understand it. I read it to memorize it. Because
why is it that they want you to be fast learners?
when you, because like you said, if you're working on a reactor operator, you need to learn. You need to not think. You just need to react, sort of like in a jiu-jitsu fight.
Right.
Like you just need to be able to react, and you be able.
You have to have that mindset.
You have to know exactly what to do, and it doesn't matter if you know what to do better than what the procedure says to do. You just have to do it, and that's why, knock on wood, they've never had an incident. They're the only branch in the service that's never had an incident. I think the Air Force and Army, they all had them. They took it away from the Army. I think the Air Force doesn't even have the minute missiles anymore or anything like that. So when people talk about alternate power, like, I definitely think nuclear reactors are there, but you have to have. I mean, even Japan had a mistake recently, right?
Yeah.
Like Germany, like you have to have the top guys, man.
Yeah.
You really
And even with that, right? There's
I mean,
Japan, right? In Japan.
Yeah, I didn't look into the instance on what exactly happened there, but it's sad, right? Because it hurts the whole community, and then they have to rebuild after. So
yeah.
But
have you seen that Chernobyl documentary?
Oh no, Chernobyl.
I think it's a series, right?
Yeah. Actually, I did, because that stuff interests me, and then you see it. So you can't have groupthink. There's a lot of things like when I went to school or when I went to the Navy, my goal was, I told them when I joined, when I went there to enlist, I said, I want to go to college, and they're like, yeah. And I'm like, no, I'm not like all these other guys. Like, my mom brought me in here, but I want to go to college. I just had no idea how to go to college. Like, to be successful at my age at that time at 16 was, well, you had to have a college degree. Okay, I'm military, but I want to have a college degree. And they're like, okay. And then I remember going, signing, and then they're like, okay, sign these papers. And I went to sign, and my recruiter, man, he always said this, you never liked me, man. You never liked me. Like, it's not that I didn't like him, but I didn't like, it was a big transition as a 16-year-old kid that you let my mom do this, like, you should have told my mom, come back at 18, let him grow a little bit. But I loved the experience that I had. Don't get me wrong. But they went to sign the papers, and I'm like, he told me, whatever you do, don't sign the paper unless it says Navy College Fund, because you scored high on your test. You deserve it. You've worked for it. You took all your tests we need to. And it wasn't there. And I was like, hey, sir. He's like, sign those papers. And I was like, it doesn't say college fund on here. And he's like, sign the papers. And I was like, but it doesn't say college papers. It doesn't say college. And he's like, what, you going to tell me how to do my job? And I was like, well, my recruiter. Oh, now we're talking about your recruiter. He tried to bully me. Like, he made a mistake. I'm sure it was just a mistake. And I was like, no. He's like, so you're telling me you want me to put that on there? I'm like, yes. He's like, well, tell me. I was like, I want you to put it on there. He's like, all right, I'll do it. And it was like,
damn.
I was like, oh, wait a minute. And then they break you down after.
Damn.
Yeah. So I got it in there, and then I started taking school. I started going to school.
And that was because your mom took you to all these recruiters, right? And spoke to everybody.
Yeah.
And, like, make sure you do everything right.
Yeah. No, she took care of me. She definitely wasn't just like leaving me at the door, because it was a 2-year process, right? Like, once you sign, I signed it and signed the papers at 16.
I'm sure, like, single mom, right? Like, it's son, like.
Yeah, she wasn't going to deal with it. She wasn't going to raise no hood guy. Like, you're going to do something with yourself. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So 16 years old, you go into the Navy.
Yeah.
Everybody's
18. I had to go to the late entry.
Oh.
So I had to finish high school. Yeah. So I signed, and then every month for a week, I would have to go in and do exercises and stuff with them until I graduated high school.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I thought you went to boot camp.
No.
At 16 years old, I was like, man, how big were you at 16? I know some 16-year-olds that are tiny.
Yeah. No. They put me in a delayed entry program.
Okay.
And then I shipped out on September 95. So I finished high school. They wanted to ship me out right away, but my mom, as a graduation gift, sent me to one of those after high schools. They went to Puerto Vallarta. I'll go down there for a few days or whatever and hang out. And I was like, man, this date. And once again, now you're going to tell me your date. And I was like, well, I already have, I'm already spent, my mom spent $1,000 or whatever it was at the time. And And they're like, okay, we'll move it. So they moved it. That was easier. It was easier to move the date than it was to actually sign the contract.
Is it because you're so young? I guess there's a lot of young guys, right, that enlist.
Yeah, I think the mentality is as soon as you sign the papers and you're in that delayed entry, like until you ship out, you technically can get out of it, right? Like you can back out. And I had a friend that actually signed up and did everything, signed the papers and backed out. And they threatened him, like, oh, you're gonna have to go and you're in this and that. And he's like, is it true? It's like, as much as I want you in the military, I think it would help you. No, it's not true, man. Like they're just kind of scaring you. So that's 2 years that you could change your mind, but I never did. Like I was even working, so I had a summer job that I ended up keeping. I had all my credits. I had so much credits in my senior year. I went to school. I only went to school for 4 hours, and really I only needed 3 classes. So one of my hours was just a study hall. And as soon as that was over, I would bail out and I'd drive my little Volkswagen Bug to my job, and I'd work. And then they would ask, hey, anybody want to pick up overtime hours? And I would work those overtime hours. I've always been doing something. Like I've always been.
So military, how did it help you as enlisting at 16?
Structure.
Right away gave you structure?
Right away. They, right away they cut your hair. They go take a shower and in my era, well, we're about the same age. Showers at the gym really weren't mandatory like they were way back when our parents were. So I'm like, I'm showering naked with a bunch of dudes. I'm like, oh man, what the hell is this? Like it's just a culture shock, man. And you get people from all over the U.S. and the people from the South, people from the Midwest, and you try to find your little clique and fit in. But yeah, definitely structure for me.
Did you feel like you're a part of something?
I've always was looking for that because my dad was a little bit absent. So, and then, my mom was doing the best that she could, but I felt like, okay, I'm part of something. Yeah, I definitely, that comes in later. I mean, you after boot camp and throughout your journey, I definitely see why veterans get out and they have issues because they're part of a community. They're part of this big group, and that no matter what, you're fed, right? You're fed, you have a roof over your house, and you have people to talk to. There's someone up higher than you. There's a lot of people up higher than you. So you can always go, they provide you with chapels, chaplain, like religious people. And so when all that gets taken away, you have to kind of start all over again. And some of them don't make it, but it definitely helped me.
So you finally went into the Navy, and what was how did you when they signed you to a submarine before you knew you were going in?
In boot camp they bring you in this room, like kind of like this, and all these pictures, and you're like, so what do you want to do? Do you want to do jiu-jitsu or do you want to do Muay Thai? And there's like nothing in there, right? But it's like, do you want to do submarines or do you want to be on an aircraft carrier? And they're like, aircraft carrier, all these people, and there's all these cool pictures of submarines and stuff, and you're just like,
damn.
Yeah, and then so you have to volunteer for it. And then I volunteered for submarines. And then once that gets on your record, you're kind of like, when you get reassigned your job, you're still assigned to a submarine, which actually was a really good decision that I did. I think being part of a smaller community, and that's the same thing too. If you're attached to a submarine, if you're on a metal can underneath the water, you have to have really good, people, and you have to have intelligent people able to solve problems that won't quit. So it was definitely great experience, and some of it's all luck, right? Like, that's crazy. You go left, you go right. If you went left in your life, maybe you wouldn't be where you were now.
Yeah.
So.
I almost went into the Navy, right? I told you that when I was 18.
Yeah.
My blood pressure was high.
Oh, shit.
For some reason, I got nervous. I don't know, when they were taking my blood pressure, and like, we need to review it. And so it took them like 3 to 4 months to review it. And then my friend came back from Brazil, Amal Easton, and we started training in his garage every day. He took me to a couple of tournaments. And then after like 4 months, or something like that, they called me up. Hey, we accepted you. You can come in now.
Right.
And you can enlist, And I was like, nah, it's okay, And I ended up doing the jiu-jitsu thing.
So you get it. Yeah. That's so.
But it was just because I don't know if it was a higher power kind of making that happen or what, But I was ready to do it,
Good. Yeah. I mean,
I wanted to be a SEAL.
Yeah. I definitely see that in you.
I wanted to, I was reading all the stuff. I even went to a place to train, learn how to do a lot of the stuff, the
Oh,
drop
that's right.
proofing and
That would make
knot
sense,
tying
right.
and, all the weapon stuff,
Yeah, you would have definitely. You would. I definitely. Yeah, you're definitely a pioneer in jiu-jitsu. You definitely would have done that.
Yeah, my first jiu-jitsu coach was in New Mexico, was a Navy SEAL. So he'd always talk to me about it, buds and all that, just all the things, So I was like really fascinated by it.
Those guys are elite. I love listening to David Goggins, man. That guy is just insane. and you get to understand that like I always look to you and I always ask you a lot of questions, and I'm just like, and I could see that look on your face. And it's funny because you did the podcast with
Jeff Glover.
Jeff Glover, and he talks about it. Man, my students always ask me these questions. I just want to tell them, man, just do what I tell you to do. I've told you what to do. Like I've always asked you about my injuries and stuff, and you're just like, you need to do something else. You just get to keep training. You just can't keep training. You got to take care of yourself. You got to eat right. You got to sleep. You tell me all these things, and I'm like, man, I'm hurt again. And I could see you like, but it takes
like, time to get in there, right? To get in there. It takes time.
Yeah.
It's all good, like with everybody, to accept it,
Yeah.
Even with everybody stretching and doing it, just takes time.
I mean,
for some people like they do it right away, right? But other people just, everybody's different.
Right.
Doesn't make anybody more or less than anybody else.
Right.
But what's right is right, It's when it's there, when you need it, it's there.
Right. It's life is, I've always looked at life as I've never understood why people don't live their life to the fullest. Like, every day I want to do something new. Every day I want to try the hardest. Like every day I want to do something I don't want to do. Like, if it's exercising, or if it's, helping my kids or brushing my kids' teeth or whatever, it's like, they can figure it out. It's like, no, they don't know what they're doing. Like, they breast stinks, so I'll go in there. Like every day I'm trying to push myself to that next level, get out of my comfort zone. And I don't understand why some people just, I understand. I understand why a lot of people don't want to, because it takes a lot, right? It takes a lot of accepting defeat, right? Because a lot of times you try, you're not always going to win. You're not always going to achieve your goal. But if you put your goal up super high, like way up there, and if you don't achieve it, what did you do along the way? Enjoy it along the way. And that's the way I look at it, man. That's why I make my bed in the morning.
Yeah.
Is I'm hoping if that's the first step, maybe something else.
Yeah, because you got your whole family training, by the way, right? Like, you got all your kids, literally all of them.
All of them.
How many kids?
That's the running joke, right?
So Serge is like, I don't know if I want to train with you, man. I'm scared. You're like, why are you scared? I was like, I mean, you might get me pregnant, because you kept popping out babies, man.
I just had Brooklyn, and then we were pregnant with Emerson, or not we.
Right, like we like to say, like we're doing any work, right? We did work, man.
Oh man, Nina's gonna kill me. No, she did everything, but and then Serge's like, man, he's like, you got 16 kids, 21 animals, because we had these lizards, and I had my dog. He's just like, you got all this kind of stuff, man. He's like, I don't know if I should roll with you.
I'm scared.
Oh man, yeah. So I have
Junior.
He's 22. I have Noah, he's 14, and I have Brooklyn, she's 4, and I have Emerson, she's 3. Yeah, so
and they're all training now, or they're all trained.
Yeah, like I said, it started the story. Junior started. He started in the kids program up there, because I jumped on the mats for a few months, and then we moved, and then it came down, and I put him back on the mats here. And at that point, I already knew I was gonna come. But
you knew you were going to come?
Yeah, I was going to train. It was more of, I've always been that way. I always put my kids first. So I want him to get in there and get into the groove. And then once he got in the groove, then I was a single dad at the time. And then I wanted to get Noah in. And then, Noah is how I met Pete. Because I went to go pick up Noah from daycare, preschool, kindergarten. And so I was taking Noah at kindergarten, Shoot, he's 14 now, so that's how crazy. He's just got his orange belt. But I saw PJ there in his little blue Gracie Bahagi, and I was like, hey, you train? He's like, yeah, I train over there. You know, I was like, oh man. And then I was like, I then ran into his dad, which is Pete.
Yeah.
Him and I are like great friends now.
Yeah.
Pete's the same mentality.
He came to your graduation.
Yeah, man.
Black belt graduation.
Yeah, it was huge. It was important. He's just a good he's a good guy. Him and I have the same mentality of we put our kids first, you know, like, and then, you know, through that you start to learn and realize, well, I wanted to, like, as I started doing this, like, well, I could see them shift, as in jiu-jitsu, they didn't have that love I did, and I was like, it's okay, you know, like, you can't put that love into them, you know, you just hope they'll find it again, you know. And Junior comes down from Santa Barbara because he lives up there. He comes down, he does the open mats and stuff, and he's like, oh, like you could see it in him again. He loves it, but yeah,
that's huge, right? For the parent to be the example, all right?
Yeah,
to be the example, because that's what they see. Yes. That's who they think, you know, subconsciously, right?
Right.
Consciously or subconsciously, like you know, if he can do it, I can do it.
Right.
That's me.
Yeah, yeah. You can tell people so much, right? But it's actually doing it. Yeah. I was nervous, like Junior wasn't gonna want to go to college, but what ended up happening is after him, you know, like I was a single dad, I was like, man, I want to go back to school. Like I actually got my bachelor's degree in the Navy, which was really difficult because it's, you know, you get that some of the people are like, you know, are you better than me? You trying to be better than me? It's like, no, I'm just trying to be better.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be better. Right? Yeah. And they're like, and then so my, like I said, everything I do good. Like I pulled out some of my awards, and because I didn't appreciate, I think, some of the stuff that I've done. I don't like to look back at what I've done. I want to just keep looking forward. I just want to keep accomplishing more. But I think sometimes you should, and
for sure,
yeah, you should appreciate everything you've done, and everything I've done. I've tried everywhere I've gone. I've tried to do the best, and it's not to show up other people. It's just for me. It's
for sure. You have to do your best. That's a big part of, I think, living to your fullest, right?
Right.
Yeah. I remember when I was younger, like competing and stuff, I would, I remember like I wouldn't like celebrate like the victories, you know. I would just be like, oh, because I don't want the hunger to go away, you know. Yes. So I don't want you lose that edge, you know. But as I got older and more experienced, I'm like, man, enjoy just the process, right? But enjoy, you know, the wins, you know, enjoy even like the work to get, even if it's a loss, the work that you did to get to that position, you know.
Yeah, I'm still learning that part.
You know, it's hard, right? You want to win, of course, you know, but just, you know, enjoy, right? Celebrate. It just doesn't have to be big, just, you know, like just acknowledge, right?
Yeah. Karate Hottie Robert, he's just like, yeah, you know, we all got nicknames, and he's like, so how are you going to celebrate? I'm like, man, I don't know. Like for me, like I said, I've always put that goal high. I want to celebrate. My plan is to compete. And the day I step on the podium as a black belt, that's the day I feel as if that I should celebrate. Like I could celebrate. I wasn't able to. I don't know if I said it because you kind of get up there and then and then you get your ceremony, black belt ceremony, and you're just like you lose what you want to say. But for me, I'm not sure if I ever really portrayed this, but it wasn't about receiving a black belt. It was the recognition from you that I was ready for that black belt. I've never really worked for the color of the belt around my waist. I just wanted to learn. I just wanted to learn and learn and learn and learn. Like you go in there and you do the warm. I go in there. I kill the warm ups. I go in there. And now I'm older. I have to do that, and especially you learn through TACFA too. Like you learn, you have to get everything flowing. If you don't, you get killed. You know, your legs start to fatigue and faster. Everything starts to fatigue faster, and you get muscle strains. But I started to realize, okay, kill the warm ups, learn your techniques, and then you can spar, and then you can enjoy. and you do like the position specific and stuff like that. And I don't try to kill people in the position specific because I'm really trying to learn that position. I want to learn it. I want to feel it. I want to understand it. And then you see guys when it comes time to spar and they're dead. I'm like, why are you dead? They're like, oh man, I was trying to hold my side control. I'm like, okay, you make mistakes, learn from the mistakes and get back in line and come back down and try and do better. It's so, it's kind of how I've been treating everything.
Yeah. You want to get that gold medal on the black belt.
Oh man.
I think one of my guys, he was like a chemical engineer in New Mexico, and then he switched careers later on and became like an investment banker. And then he didn't compete for 10 years, got his black belt, never competed. And then I saw an IBGF tournament in Texas, like with his gold medal,
Nice.
like a black belt,
See, that's
so
the ultimate.
it's cool, it's cool. I was like,
Right.
Now nobody can, say,
Right. That's kind of
it's
how
legit,
Right. and it's
because he's a dad. He has all
Right.
these work,
Right.
crazy work, and
yeah.
it's cool, man. He made a nice speech too when he got his black belt because he already had
Maverick?
already switched. No, his name's Cliff.
Cliff. Okay.
Yeah, so Cliff was making his black belt speech, and I was talking about everybody in their going through to become an investment banker or whatever. All the people would take drugs and drink and stuff just to deal with the stress.
Right.
And he's
Anxiety.
like, man, I didn't have to do anything. It was easy. And he's like, it's because of jiu-jitsu. You're in bad spots. You're like,
Figure
okay,
them out.
I have to relax. Wait, boom, get my position, recover. So he had that so much ingrained in him. Speaking of like having certain things ingrained, and that jiu-jitsu gives you, right? Is that like calm under pressure, like
Right.
because if you panic under pressure, you're done for sure.
Oh.
So you're like, okay, relax. Okay, let me figure this out,
Right.
and then you can figure it out.
Yeah, so the military taught me there's always ways, there's a procedure for everything. You can find a procedure for everything, from brushing your teeth to running a reactor, to running missile launch systems. That's what I ended up doing, working on missile launch systems on a submarine. But jiu-jitsu taught me, and it was, man, like once again, like I was in the clouds when you told me, he's like, you're a problem solver, you'll be okay, you'll figure it out, and it is, jiu-jitsu figures out, okay, you got yourself in a bad position, now get yourself out. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna quit? You're gonna get choked out? You're gonna are you just gonna give up on yourself, or are you gonna figure it out? And that's what I've always tried to do. And then now it's almost to, you get the ultimate circle when you start to understand like the human body and like where you're at now, and there's levels of it though, right? There's levels, and you start to understand, well, if I bend this way, if I was able to stretch more, and if I was more limber, I could have moved here and I could have moved there. And it's not just about athleticism, it's not just about that's what jiu-jitsu was, right? That's how this little guy went out there and then just manhandled all these big guys.
Yeah.
Right. It's
still
still real. It's still real. Doesn't matter if they know as much as you do, belt rank wise, but are you able to solve that problem quicker than they are? So, and if you keep your mind sharp, eat healthy, you can figure it out.
That's it, man. You have to do everything right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So you've been training for say a decade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty close, decade. What are some of the you're talking about some of the lessons that you've learned on the mat that you've carried over to your parts of your life? So what are some other benefits that you've seen from training?
From training, definitely
Living the jiu-jitsu lifestyle,
right, is health. I've always ran. As a kid, I would come home from high school. Like I said, my mom was just like, I get her now. Like I have my little girls, and my boys are more like kind of their mom's demeanor. My girls, man, they're wild. They're wild. I used to come home from school and I would just run, and I would just go and run.
You can't sit still.
Yeah, I can't sit still. And so what I've been able to learn, I've been able to learn how to live a healthier life, to live a life, you just can, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. I've never felt more comfortable with my body ever in my life. And I'm at 43, and I feel as if I'm the strongest, the healthiest diet-wise. You know, like it's just hard. It's really, it's definitely a way of living. You try not to get to, you know, like saying the same things that everybody does, you know, like jiu-jitsu saved my life but it's sort of true. It's definitely true. It's, you know, the little things that you do, the little things that I do you know, regards to every day, you know, I get in an altercation, not altercation, but I get into a standoff with my little girls, and they're just like, no, I don't want to do this. It's like, okay, well, I could do what I was taught, you know, just yell and you know, yell at them, or I could find other ways. Like, there's got to be another way, right? There's got to be another way. There's always more than one way.
That's some huge guys in side control.
Yeah.
If you panic and get, you know,
right,
lose your emotions,
try to explode, whatever, you can pop your own hip, and then you get mad. You're like, no, you're the one that bridged too hard, and you had that 300-pound guy on you. Why would, you know,
waste that energy?
Yeah. So it's stay calm, relax. And so it's helped me a lot. It's helped me a lot, really, just being a better dad, I would say. First and foremost, once again, because I didn't have my dad around much. And then, so it's like, it helped me be a really good parent, you know. Helped me understand, being more humble and taking advice. Yeah, people humble you here, man. This gym, it's, even through the different stages that it's taken, there's always been great athletes here. There's always been great people, intelligent people. I mean, it's amazing. Like, you have from lawyers to cartoonists to, you know, all kinds of, you probably know more of who they are. And that's what's nice, is nobody really talks about it on the mat. We're just
doctors, actors,
there
I mean,
go.
everybody, right?
Yeah.
Famous people, right?
And you just learn to solve problems with them. You learn.
Everybody's the same.
Yes. You know, okay, we have different color belts. You know, we're at different levels. We're in different parts of our journeys. But I definitely feel as if I'm a better husband. I'm a better person at home because of jiu-jitsu. I'm able to figure things out more. I'm able to accept things more and accept my faults and try to see if those are faults I'm willing to accept and live with, who I am, or there are ones that I should change, because we can't always change everything about ourselves, you know. But no, hey, it is definitely a martial art. It's not just the sport. It's definitely something that it goes deeper, you know. It goes deeper.
You know, just you folding, you know, you making your bed in the morning and folding the sheets the way you do, right? What's it called?
Oh, hospital corners.
Hospital corners. So hospital corners, you know. I think that's one of the things, like, that makes somebody a black belt, you know, is they have a certain lifestyle ingrained in them, like a routine, like a, you know, and if you don't do that, like, you feel things missing, like you're not right, you know.
Correct.
You're not balanced.
Yeah, definitely. I need to live a healthy lifestyle. I need mental health too, you know.
Yeah. It's all there, right?
Yeah, we have all kinds of physical coaches and physical, you know, therapy, and, you know, jiu-jitsu has been like my mental therapy. It's been definitely helped me learn and grow, you know, which is amazing, right? Because you just come in, you sign the paper, and then next thing you know, 10 years later, you've learned a lot about yourself.
How have the relationships in jiu-jitsu, how does that compare to being in the Navy for a decade? Being a decade in jiu-jitsu versus a decade in, how do the relationships compare?
Very similar in the stance where we're all dealing with more than just what's here. You know, like, we're in the Navy, you're dealing, you know, with your job, right? You're dealing with your job, and then you go away for a few, and then you get really close bonds with people. I use this word, and it's weird because the people who enjoy suffering, right? Like, suffering could be good and it could be bad. A lot of people relate to suffering as bad, but I like it. I enjoy suffering. I think I learn the most when I suffer. So when you go through and you're suffering through a hard job, every six nights, you know, even though you're not attached to a submarine or a ship, you're still sleeping at your job for every 6th night. So you're away from your family and you're away from it. You know, you're just sitting there. It's suffering, you know, like, but.
So you would have to sleep at your work, you said?
Yeah. They have little beds and stuff like that. So it would be like every 6th day you sleep up here. And you don't sleep, you don't go home. You make sure that this place is safe every 6 days. And there's people in between that have that same rotation. So there's always someone here guarding your facility.
I see.
Yeah. And you know, it starts to, you could make it could crack, or you can build a bond with the guy sitting next to you and just shoot the shit and talk and how things going, how's your family going? And then those conversations, right, they start to go deeper, right? And then you get a better bond, you get a better relationship to people you don't even know, right? Which is similar on the mats. Someone you're just like, man, I seen him roll that way, and I don't know if I like that guy. Like, he kind of hurt my friend. And then you're both them like, oh man, that's the nicest guy ever, you know? And it's just, they're very similar in that sense. And I think that's also what I've sort of needed, because I'm not really close with my family, my extended family. Not for any reason, just kind of like, that's just the way it is. It's always been. Like, they live the closest. My aunt lives over in Lake Forest, so her and I are pretty close. But like my Thai
your
side
mom's
family,
sister?
It's weird. It's my grandma's sister.
Oh, I see.
But they were aged, so yeah. So it's but so, you know, I have cousins there, and stuff like that. But this is, and you try not to, right? You try not to make this people here too much of your family, because they're not really your family. But then, you know what I mean? It's just a balance.
I don't know, man. You know, like, I went to Brazil, right, for the 25-year anniversary.
Oh, that's right.
And there's just the trust. There's like a bond that really never goes away, you know? And I hope that for all you guys, you know, that same bond and trust, you know? There's a real trust, you know, it's real. And
Definitely.
It's almost more than, you know, like, because you spend so much time, but also like there's you know, doing jiu-jitsu and the guy trying to choke you or armbar you, you know? But, you know, if he gets it, like, is he going to break it? Or, you know, there's just a trust that you build, right?
Yeah.
And then just, you know, having each other that you're trained with, right? And just all the things that go along with it, you know? And then just the adventures and tournaments and ups and the downs and everything in between, you know? Road trips, right? You know what I mean? Like
going down to San Diego and watching.
Yeah. Now, what's that? Yeah. It's all part of it, you know? It's all part of it, you know? And that's life, man. That's life, you know?
It is.
And,
you're right.
yeah, I understand. Like, yeah, I understand.
I guess I meant it more as in, I think I grew up so much as an individual that I don't want to trust someone else is going to think about the same as me.
I see. No, for sure.
You know, like I give a lot. Like and some people are like, what do you want? No, I pretty much have everything I want. You know, obviously I want more, right? I want that. So my ultimate goal in jiu-jitsu is to be a black belt world champion. Like it goes back to saying, you can look at that, oh, he's the egotistical. No, like I just want to have the greatest achievement possible.
Yeah.
I want to try and
do it. Why not?
Right, exactly. Why am I doing it if I'm not trying to
and you can totally
that?
do it. Why wouldn't you do it? Try and do that and make it happen.
But I want to enjoy the journey along the way. Like I said, this black belt journey was like, you tell a 10-year-old kid we're going to drive from LA to New York, and most of the time they're going to close their eyes. But I've always been that kid that's wanted to open. What's that? What's that? What's that? You know, what is that? What's that building? So it's enjoying the journey along the way. And I need everyone here. You need a great group of people that are willing to, you know, like you said, push you to your limits, but not break you. You know, maybe sometimes they do break you, you know, but you hope they pick you up
nicely,
right? But you hope they help mend you.
Smashed.
And there's definitely people here that can do that, you know.
Professor Alexander with the cowboy mounts, you know.
Just putting that head in the crotch. You're just like, can you stop? Like, hey, that's like a mental and physical break, right? Because like mentally you're just like, I am the lowest position, and like I don't want to be here, but I can't get out. So yeah.
And then they tap out like that.
Yeah, right. He always would catch me too.
Humiliating.
Yeah, putting my arm out, like putting my arm out. Like I would go and like, there's his knee. I'm just going to push. And then, he gets that quick arm bar,
Brutal.
It's
That's part of it though, right? The humility and just makes you a better person, all these things.
Yeah, you take chances, you take risks, you put your arm out, and sometimes, it gets
fun,
broken.
It's fun. It's fun. I want us to all be our best, training and healthy, not in pain, and just be able to do it till the end,
Yep. Yeah.
Have this a part of our lives.
Yeah, I've like my wife's really proud of me because I've never quit. Like I've had every reason to. And there's no knock on the people that decide, okay, this is not for me.
Yeah, of course.
I have a physical job. My toolbox is 70 pounds. I've had a lot of my bosses be like, what are you doing? You need to quit that shit. Like you need to stop. But it's like I was talking, I think it was texting back and forth with Andrew. It's like I would,
Andrew, who just got his black belt?
No, I'm sorry. You're one of your former kids coach, Andrew. He's a blue belt, new guy. We were just talking back and forth, like, wow, like what we do without, like I would die without jiu-jitsu. I think I wouldn't be the person who I am now. Would die definitely. And that's a person who's, not scared to try, not, willing to push my body, willing. I've always seen my body as a tool. It's just a tool. My brain is what matters.
What did he ask you?
Oh, he's just like, oh man, he's nervous because of everything going on. Like, what would we do without, what would we do without jiu-jitsu? I'm like, well, I would die. Like, so I might as well do it. I might as well do it until I die. Like, if this is what, if people are gonna tell me if doing jiu-jitsu is gonna kill you, then okay, because there's everything else that could kill me.
Yeah.
So I might as well do what I love.
Yeah, that's it.
Right. Obviously the talk was a little bit better, but I can't remember exactly what he said, but essentially that's what it was.
Yeah.
Like we are all gonna die at some point in our life. You cannot avoid it. Right.
Can
guaranteed.
Live
taxes and death. Right. Death and taxes. So why not do what you love?
Yeah, of course. That's it. Yeah.
Why not?
Life short, man. Life short as it is, Every day is not guaranteed.
Yeah. When I lost my brother to brain cancer, he was the one that really got me. Like, so my junior was in jiu-jitsu, and I was watching classes. I'm like, oh, I think I figured this stuff out. Just from, like whatever, stupid dad on the side, like you always tell him dads on the side, hey, don't coach. Like, and then we were fooling around, and like we were wrestling in the hallway, and he put me in a guillotine. I was like, oh, and he's like, you better tap. I'm like, what the hell's tap? And it was like, all right, tap. And he's like, you want to go again? I was like, yeah, let's go again. And he did it to me again, and I was like, what the hell? And he's just like, you said jiu-jitsu was king. This is jiu-jitsu, man. And if
that was before you actually
that's before I started training.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so your son choking you is what got you into jiu-jitsu.
My stepbrother. Yeah.
Oh, your stepbrother. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Your stepbrother got you.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So I already knew. Okay.
Stepbrother.
Yeah.
He passed from.
Yeah, he passed from. He's the one that
Kenny Florian
signed the gloves. He was a huge. Talk about like how you old school. He knew all those guys way back in Pride. He would talk about all this stuff. And I'm just like, I, as a learner, I was trying to catch up. Yeah. And I would go look up all these fighters, but that was him.
He's the one. Him choking you is what got you.
Yeah,
got me. That's legit.
Yeah, I can't just send my son out there. I need to learn what this is. I need to learn, how to defend myself, how not to let that happen, and
yeah. Cool.
And I always think about, I was like, man, he always ended with the last win, like, so I'm always trying to chase him. We'll see each other in heaven, and we'll have a grapple again. But
rematch.
Yeah.
Did he get his black belt?
No, he was just a white and blue, maybe a blue, but no, it was early. That's how much he had caught me. Yeah. And then he actually passed away young. He was like 30 when he passed away, so he really didn't get to have a journey. So I mean, he was fighting his last few years. He was fighting hard. So, but yeah, he's definitely he'll never be forgotten in my journey. My life.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
He got you into jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, right.
He choked you.
He choked you twice. Twice.
Better than any hug. Huh?
Oh my gosh, man, it's insane. It's different being choked now when you know what to expect, but when you've never been choked before like that, yeah, it's very traumatic. It's like I never want that feeling ever to happen to me ever again. And now you're just like, you kind of put your neck out there, like, oh, like I'm gonna get out of this. Like, I'm just gonna put it in here, so, put my chin in his ribs and get out of this thing. But yeah, when you've never had it happen to you, I think a lot of people's minds would change if they just were choked at one time. They'd be like, yeah, I need to learn how to not let that ever happen.
And everybody fighting and stuff now, right? Online and everywhere. It seems like, everybody's like so divided on everything. Just put them on the mat and let them train, and it's all good. It'll be all over.
Yeah.
But everybody being behind the keyboards and all that, these days.
I don't understand. I really don't get it.
That's because, it brings everybody together, right? Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So that's all it is.
Yeah. And as an empathetic person, I try to listen to them, and then you kind of feel as if there is no purpose besides whatever you're saying is wrong, and I guess they call them trolls or whatever, but
trolls, yeah, it's all whatever. Focus on doing us, right? Doing our thing. Yeah. Man, I wanted to go back to the submarine just because, I'm kind of fascinated on. So you were in a submarine for 10 years.
4. Yeah,
4 years.
4.
So you were in a submarine for 4 years.
Yep. Blue crew. There's a blue crew and a gold crew.
Okay,
I was on the blue crew.
Okay, so you were in the Pacific Ocean mainly?
Yes, stationed off the Washington State.
Washington State, okay. Yeah. And so, you're on the base, but then you go into the submarine, and then you go out into the ocean.
Yep. So
how long are the stints going into the ocean?
About 70 days.
70 days.
You're on, about 70 days.
Yeah.
There's 90-day. And then my buddies will message me like, "No, man, you're wrong." But this, what I remember, which is a pretty good memory, is there's 90 day. Every 90 days you shift.
Shift, like what does that mean?
You shift crews.
Okay.
So there's a blue crew and a gold crew. So every 90 days, and then so in between, then you do a turnover and stuff like that, and you're out. You're out at sea. And the schedule gets changed depending on what.
And so where did you guys go? What places?
You do circles in the Pacific, but I got some cool. I was on the Henry M. Jackson, which is the only Ohio
circles in the Pacific. That's crazy. So you're like an Arctic area.
Well, we did go. I went to Alaska. But I didn't get out. You come up and then you go to. I went to Alaska. I did do some pretty cool things. I went to Hawaii every other patrol. You don't go anymore because of 9/11, but I got to do a missile shoot, a ballistic missile shoot. So there's 24 missile tubes, and then they choose 4, and they make them safe. They put telemetry devices where the warheads go instead, but we went from Washington State. All the way down through the Panama Canal.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, that's when we still owned it, so we still were allowed to pass through it. And you go through the locks.
Yeah. I went
man,
down there.
It was so cool. You go through the locks, and I was like, man, that's
just the history of the Panama Canal, too.
Yeah.
It used to be Colombia, and then, suddenly... the U.S. signed the deal to complete the thing, and suddenly that part just became another country. Well, it's crazy, like the whole history with it, right? I think the French started it, but then they, so many people died from malaria and all these different things that they had to stop, and then America came in and finished it, right? But then it was all around like the Armenian genocide, so like a lot. There's like a like a little museum and like Armenians and Greek and just people from that area, but then around that area, but a lot they said Armenians, and I'm like, what? Like what the hell, how these Armenians end up in Panama, But it's all around that time of the genocide, so I think they fled and had to they set up their communities and stuff in Panama.
It was work.
But it was super interesting. Yeah. Wow. Huh? Like all the different.
Yeah.
In a submarine, to be in a submarine and that kind of a thing.
Yep.
That talk about being claustrophobic, man. I don't know how that was.
This thing is huge. The
It's
ballistic
huge?
submarine
Okay.
is like it's 4 levels.
4 levels.
4 levels. It's if they call them levels, but just 4 floors or whatever, 4 levels, and it was big. It's the Cadillac of the submarines.
Oh, so you were on that one.
Yeah. So it was pretty big, and then we went over to Florida and did all that telemetry, changing out and putting on the telemetry devices, and went out and shot missiles. So when you see,
So you went to Florida. Did you guys get to go on land?
then we went to Pensacola, Florida, and then Pecan, and then went out and had a couple beers with the people.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, but you're working.
70
You're working.
days. Yeah, for sure. But just the fact that you're underwater that long,
Yeah.
and then
They used to have to go around. They call it around the Horn, all the way around South America.
No way.
Yeah, but then they started. So now it's closed, right? Well, we gave it back. We gave the Panama Canal back to them.
Right.
So now they shoot off the coast over here. So when you see it go, oh, that's a spaceship or it's a UFO, they're shooting. They're shooting here now. So and then you get your data device. They read all the data and stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's crazy, man. So what's a typical day look like? And when you go out to sea,
They're 18-hour days, 6, 12, 18. So everyone that stands a 6-hour watch, and you get 3 split into 3.
so 18-hour days.
Yeah.
18 hours of
Because there's no sunlight. You're underwater.
Right. So of work, like you're working, doing stuff on the boat.
Yeah. So they're 18-hour days. There's 3 shifts. You get put into one of those 3 shifts. And then depending your qualifications, how high level you are, how long you've been there, how much equipment you know within your job. Like, so I was a missile technician. There's the rover who constantly rovered around, a security rover, make sure no one was tampering with the missile tubes. There's 24 tubes, 4 floors, so you're just constantly, moving around, checking gauges. Yeah,
some spy, huh? Some Chinese spy or something. Mess around with the tubes,
Well, they said the reality is if there's anyone that's gonna mess with your equipment, it's gonna be someone from within, right? Like you get a guy that's just lost it and just like, F this place, I'm gonna go damage, I'm gonna try to do something. So that was never saw someone do that, but that's the most realistic thing that's going to happen. Like, how are you going to take something and go down and drill a hole in a submarine and do all that? No, it's going to be some guy that just lost it, says F America.
James Bond.
Right?
Scuba gear, making a circle in the submarine, right?
Oh, man. Yeah, you never know what these...
So you had 18... Yes, 18 6 hours you would sleep?
No. So this is the weird part. So 6 hours of watch, and then you had 12 hours off, right? But your normal day is, so like you work 6-hour shift, and it's 18 hours. Then you have 12 hours off before you start your next 6-hour shift.
Okay.
And then
so you're not on a 24-hour because you don't have the sunlight and everything.
Right. And there's
that's crazy.
Right?
So when you come off of the ship or off of the
you're all messed
submarine,
up. Yeah, you're all messed up.
Circadian rhythm and everything.
Oh man, yeah, you're all messed up, and you smell like because
like
we make our own we make.
How many guys are on that submarine?
Oh, so everything's clean. Yeah, there's about 150.
Okay.
Yeah, there's there's or 120. There's a running joke. 120 go down and 60 couples come up.
Oh my god,
that's not true. But yeah.
Do any women go on those?
I've heard now they are, but no,
Oh my God.
it's yeah. I mean, we do take on, like, we'll be out and we'll take on like female officers or whatever that are in apprenticeship, and all the guys are like, what?
Yeah,
I'm like, calm down, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. And we pull in Hawaii.
It's like the Matrix movie, right? When they're in that little thing flying around, right?
Oh, yeah.
And under, like there's no light, there's nothing.
There's nothing. It's just fluorescent light, and you do your job, and you have to be mentally strong. You do.
Yeah.
You definitely do. We mess with each other.
Yeah.
This one time, a cool story. This guy kept putting his shoes out. We have a shoe tree, so our bunks were between the missile tubes, and then the beds were there. but so everything's small, right? And if you don't put your shoes up, you trip over them. And then so there's a curtain. You open the curtain, and you would go into like your room, like that curtain, like you would open the curtain, and the lights are always off, right? Because people are sleeping. Everyone's on a different rotation. The guy kept leaving his shoes out. So I grabbed his shoes and I duct taped them to the ceiling. And then what happened? We ran a drill. A drill wasn't even scheduled on our submarine. It was they sent a message in saying, "Hey, radio, like go on a drill, go alert, go alert." And then these drills, and this guy, he didn't come up. We're like, we're on our drill stations, right? We're on our stations. He didn't come up, and here he comes with his head down, all pissed off, no shoes. I duct tape his shoes to the ceiling. The guy in charge was like, who the hell took his shoes? And I was like,
Did you decide?
I was like, hey, go get him his shoes. And I was like, I had to rip them all from the neck.
That's hilarious.
So we do pranks like that.
Did he ever leave his shoes out again?
No, he changed bunk rooms after that. He was like, no, I ain't staying with Kris. I'm just neat and orderly. I'm meticulous. I'm, no, he.
So how much room did you had? You guys had like how many bunks? Like 2 bunks, 3 bunks?
So there's one on the floor, one in the middle, one on top. And I always liked the top one because there was like, I just felt away from everyone up there.
More privacy.
Yeah. The middle one was nice because you could just slide right in, right? You could just duck your head and slide in. The top one, you had to kind of climb up. And then the bottom one, I felt as if everyone's always like your feet. You're always by someone's feet.
Man. So is there any turbulence when you're in the underwater?
No, it's when you're up on when you're pulling
above,
in, yeah, because you can't stay underwater the whole time, right? So when you decide when you want to come up,
they come up for like air and stuff to get more air and stuff.
Yeah, we snorkel, we get some air. We produce our own oxygen. There's O2 generators.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, so they do everything.
How much do one of those submarines cost?
I don't know, man.
Millions, huh?
Yeah, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Man,
it's pretty dope. They're
4 levels.
4 levels. There's three compartments: the rack compartment, the missile compartment, and then the forward compartment.
Is there a gym inside?
Yeah. There was 2 running machines. There was 2 row machines, and then some free weights. And then so I was always lifting weights. So and then those guys, I mean, you get the big guys, and they're just like, oh man, we're in a month we're gonna see who can lift the most weights. And I'm like, man, you guys lift more weights than me already. But, you take the challenge, right? You take the challenge. So, yeah, there was that. And do
you miss anything?
The camaraderie, but I get it from here. But after 9/11, it changed a lot. They say it goes in cycles like that. Like big events happen that kind of take the fun out of it.
What changed?
Security. Like you couldn't, like my son was able to come down. Junior was able to come down onto the submarine and check it out and walk him around. He's the only one that was able. Like Noah was small. Actually Noah was born over here. But like you used to have parents that could bring parents on, and you would go out. You literally go out and you would do a little cruise and go underwater and then come back. But they can't do any of that anymore.
That's
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That makes you proud to be doing
right? Check this out. Yeah, people would fly in from all over the U.S., all over the country, all over the world would fly because they were family members and they wanted to experience what it's like to be on a real submarine. Yeah. Not Disneyland submarine.
Yeah, wow.
So, a lot of that stuff is gone. Like there are lines to get on the base. Once you get on the base, then there's lines to get into the secured area, and then once you get to the secure area, then there's lines to get in. There's lines after lines after lines, which is they need to do. It's
right.
It's just tough. It makes your like if you want to show up to work at 6 a.m., you got to be up at 4, and then just go through the process every day. So but you get the camaraderie here. If there's anything, I wish maybe one of my goals will be, when I'm ready for it, is to get veterans to come train jiu-jitsu. I'm just not ready for that. Not with my little kids and stuff. I'm all in with everything I do. And I realize if I spread myself thin, it's not going to be good for myself, my family. So, but
you got the Kobe Bryant
Mamba mentality, bro. Yeah. Little things, right? You have to have little messages to remind you to stay strong mentally. Yeah, my buddy made this. Danny, he has a he's a company called Gloat. He's pretty
Gloat.
Gloat. Yeah, he's but mama mentality is important to me. It's it's a big deal. You know, like you gotta go. You gotta kill it.
You like mentioned like low points of your life, like
Yeah.
ups and downs. What's a low point?
Probably like one of my super lows is probably like my failed marriage, my first marriage with my kids. Like I know I've always wanted to be a winner and win. I obviously didn't. We got married when we were 18, you know, and then 18, and then had my son at 21, and I was ready for it, but I didn't. Like we grow, right? We're just little people, and then you grow, and then you start to realize who you really are, and we just became two different people, you know. And it was so that was hard in the military because she would take my, you know, like I would go out to sea and I couldn't see my son, and I knew she wasn't happy, and then I couldn't spend time. Like it's really, I've always wanted to do kind of like fix my wrongs. So with my dad not being in my life, I always wanted to be there for my kids. So that's like a big driver. She would tell me, "You're not your dad. You're not your dad." I'm like, "Don't tell me what to do. You don't even want to be with me," you know. Like, but I had to grow and learn that she was right. You know, like I'm not my dad. You know, my dad and I have, you know, we talk, and you know, he even regrets kind of, you know, some of the stuff, and so yeah, it's, you know, it's okay, you know, like we just grow, we just became. So I wish I would have changed that a little bit, you know. I kind of I was really good sailor. I had a lot of awards. I got junior sailor of the quarter. I had a very good. I could have been a very successful, finished my 20-year career, maybe gone past. But I always made my family first. I always put my family first, which is tough because we have to leave, right? And then so like mentally, one patrols, like I was just like, I don't think I can do this anymore. And they're like, "What do you mean?" So I went from the guy that everyone could rely on, right? Like every possible job. I was a QA inspector. They only gave that to the mechanics. And I was a QA inspector because the missile tubes have a hatch, right? And it gets exposed, and there's seals there. And they used to come, and they used to inspect the seals and make sure we did everything right. And my boss at the time was like, "I want you to be one of those guys." I was like, "Sure, I'll do it." I've always been that way. "What do you want me to do?" "All right, boss, I'll do it. No problem." And it was hard. Like I went to school for a while, and I was the only missile tech there, and they're all looking at me. They're all machinist mates. Like, "What is this fool doing here? Like, you don't belong here, man. You work on a missile tube. You don't work on all this, you know, you don't work on all this stuff." And I went through the qualifications. My first job of QA inspecting, my boss went and started not doing the procedure. And I was like, "Hey, man, we got to do this." And then I got audited my first job, and I got dequalified right off the bat. He's like, "You are the QA inspector. You need to control the situation. I don't care if he's your boss." You get reprimanded, and you're just like embarrassed, and it's a small crew, and everybody knows. So, you know, those little things, you know, I was the guy. I was always the guy. And then there was one point when I was just like, man, you know, this is, I just want to go home. Like I was, so 3-hour shifts, right? I'm sorry, 3 shifts, 6-hour shifts, 3 shifts, 18-hour days. We used to have, if you had an extra guy, you could plug in. And then so some guys would get extended time off. Like instead of showing, you had 12 hours off, instead of showing up for your next 6-hour shift, you would get that off. I would come in and I would take your watch for you. And this, you would have extra time off. So I was like, I was doing that. I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I'm giving everyone an extra time off for what? Where are they going? They're not going home. They're not going anywhere. Let me just go home and let me fix this thing with my marriage. You know, like they knew there's no fixing that, you know, like it's, you know, you tried, if this is not going to work out here with you two apart, how are you going home going to fix it? I get that now, but at the time I was like, no, I can fix anything. I can fix it. I can go out there. I can fix it. And they're like, because we were gonna pull into a port or something like that, and then I could have got shit back, and that was a real low point where I wish if I could go back, I would have sucked it up. I would have realized, and I would have made my career. I would have finished the career the way I wanted it to. The way all the heart, all the effort, all the dedication. Like, I mean, Junior was born one day and I was back to work the next day. Like, I didn't take no time off. I like to have one little moment that eats at me. I wish I could go back and fix that. You know, I wish I could go back and say, hey, you know what? You guys can rely on me. I'm just stupid. Whatever. I'm over it. Whatever. I'm over it. You know, but you just got to learn from those moments, man. You just got to learn and be a better person. You know, you got to learn if someone's choking you not to just quit and say, all right, put me to sleep. You got to figure out, all right, I got to get out of here.
So after you came back, you didn't go back. You decided to, like, you're going to leave the Navy.
At that moment, I realized this is not for me. I can't be a good father like this. I can't dedicate. I wanted to be a family man. I can't dedicate myself to being like this. So that was one of my last patrols. I think I did like 6 patrols. So that was like my 6th patrol. And then I had to get stationed to shore duty because I enlisted. They gave me a bonus. They gave me like a $25,000 bonus. But so I already did that, and I already was going to do another 4 years. And they're like, so where you going to go? I'm like, man, can I just go home? Like, she wants to go to California. Can I just do duty there in California somewhere? I'm like, no, man, like, you got choices. Like, this is what your choices are. And that's when I worked at the weapons facility. So that's when I met Chuck. That's how it all, it's funny, right? You go left or you go right. And then
Chuck is
he's the one that told me to watch Ultimate Fighter. Okay. How, I started watching all that stuff. Maybe if knowing me in sports, I probably would eventually picked it up. But, yeah, and then even over there, they were really cool.
Because he was the one who talked to you about the
Ultimate Fighter. You gotta watch this. You gotta watch
Chuck,
this.
And then your brother-in-law is the one who choked you. All right.
Yeah, my stepbrother.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. So I mean, little things that come in your life, Chuck and I got along. Like, we both had our differences with the military. We loved it, but yet we knew there was something else. We did our time. Yeah. We did our time. And he got out. He went down to San Diego. And I remember he got out before me. And everyone was like, oh, Mom, did you hear that? Did you hear that? I was like, he'll be all right. He'll be all right. He went out there with no job, no nothing. As you know how to do stuff like that. He just went out there and did it. I'm like, if he can do it, I could do it. I'll be all right. Because everybody tells you, right? Like, the group think, you got to stay with us. You got to stay with us. It sucks here. But if you stay with us, you'll be okay. And then you'll get a little money. And then you can figure out, how to make money afterwards.
Yeah. Give me a high point. Some high point. You said highs and lows. Give me a high.
High in the military or overall?
Just life.
High point. Man, probably meeting Nina. Like, I'm trying not to get emotional about it, but I've never met a person to be so supportive, such a great friend. She doesn't tell me how to live my life, and I met her doing what I love, and I love jiu-jitsu. I met her, it wasn't, we shared. It was weird. It was like, kind of ran into her at another gym, and then Encino, and then
at our gym in Encino.
Yeah, right. And then she was training at GB Encino. And then I knew of her. She was like, oh, I don't remember you. It's funny, right? Like, that funny story is like, oh, I remember you from Encino. She's like, huh? No, Woodland Hills, which was like a year later, But, yeah, the story's like, what is it? Like, we were supposed to spar together in Encino. And she's like, oh, man. She's like, go easy on me. I just ran a half marathon. I was like, oh, man, I want to marry this woman. Like, someone to run a half marathon and then come and train, like, who does that, right? Like, there's something different there. That's a different mentality. So, and then I met her, and then we ran into each other, and then I thought we were just friends, like, we were just, whatever, we were just teammates, and that was cool. And then we ran into each other again in Woodland Hills, helping Sammy out there.
And then she was like, no, she's
Oh,
like
yeah, no
saying
ring.
if you had a wedding ring. She's like, I don't
Not
see
even that.
not even a tan line for the wedding ring.
She's next level. She was like, "Is there tan lines? No tan line. No one. You know." So yeah, and then I proposed to her here on the
the mat or
on the mat at Burbank. Yeah. So that's definitely a
you
high.
have your whole family training.
Yep.
All of your kids.
Yeah, that's definitely a high moment in my life. It's definitely meeting someone that you can share your journey with that doesn't tell you how to live, doesn't how to live your life. Like you can't find people like that, like you can't make people like that. You just have to run into them. Yeah.
Congrats, man. Congrats on your black belt. Congrats on all your successes, your amazing family.
Thank you.
Beautiful family, all your kids, amazing kids.
Thank you.
Your friendship. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Professor. Appreciate it.